We got that west wind that hasn't been helping at all.
Yeah.
But we're also talking about that a massive hurricane out there in the Atlantic that it just has that classic look to it of a major hurricane.
It does, and it's only going to get bigger too, I think, and stronger over the course of the next 2 days. It's going to go through a series of expanding and contracting, and when that happens, the wind field expands, and it's already doubled in intensity just today. Here's the visible satellite imagery from the GOES 16, really getting a classic look of this hurricane as we, again, watch it. There's multiple vortices inside that. That's every, this picture was taken every 15 minutes, so you can see quite clearly there's the center. It's got the stadium effect. It's got multiple vortices in there. You can see it. The winds are so strong around that center. I wouldn't be surprised if the reconnaissance aircraft find this to be a Category 5 storm either tonight or throughout the day tomorrow with winds exceeding that 155-mile-an-hour threshold. Right now it's getting better organized as well. Conditions are favorable for it to strengthen. All depends upon high pressure and how strong it builds over the Great Lakes, moves down into this area and forces this storm off to the west. If that high pressure is weaker, there's a chance it could stay just off the coast here. We'll show you that in a minute. This frontal boundary here is weak. We could use a front, a strong one, to move through and carry this thing off into the Atlantic, but that's not going to happen. This front is fading away. High pressure has been bumped down to our south, giving us that west to southwesterly wind, which favors inland storms, also brings the harmful impacts of red tide on the coast. And you can see some showers off here in the Gulf of Mexico. This kind of situation does tend to some late night showers, so we could see that, but most of the activity inland pushing off toward the east. While the tropics are active, to say the least, we have a tropical disturbance, a 50% chance of this developing. This looks rather ominous, but the conditions are going to move off toward the northwest as high pressure stays over us. This is Florence, this is Isaac, this is Helene, and we could have again a Joyce forming off in the northeast Atlantic, but this is the biggest storm by far that we'll have to keep an eye on for the United States. A well-defined eye, excellent outflow in all quadrants. This is a classic looking major hurricane, 140-mile-an-hour winds. It's moving to the west-northwest at 13, up to near Category 5 tomorrow at 155. As I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see it as a 5. Now, there's a little bit of shear expected here just before it makes landfall, so more than likely it will be a Category 4, possibly Category 3, but we'll see how that plays out. Intensity forecasting, very difficult, especially that far out. And you can see this large bubble here. That means it's going to be somewhere within this region for the course of 2 days, and that means you're going to see excessive amounts of rainfall as all this moisture moves on in, and that means flash flooding. On top of that, it has some very warm water to go over, so there's plenty of fuel for this storm. I mentioned the rainfall, the European forecast model, plus 10 inches. We're talking, as I said, some isolated areas, up to 2 to possibly 3 feet of rainfall. Well, this is Isaac, and this would be a storm to watch, but conditions are not favorable for this to develop in time. In fact, it turns into a tropical storm. A lot of the forecast models bend it off to the northwest. This could be an influencing factor, too, onto where it goes. Now, this is the GFS forecast. Get a look at this. This is Thursday, just offshore, the Carolinas. It stays offshore. This is Saturday. This is Sunday. 3-4 days and staying right there, eventually making landfall on Monday and then heading down to the south toward Georgia. So a lot can happen between now and Thursday and Friday. So keep an eye on this one. As far as the Carolinas go, it looks like they're going to be hit the hardest. That system over the northwest Caribbean, as I mentioned, heading off toward Texas. Winds will be out of the east, turning to the northwest at 5 to 10 knots tomorrow, so not too bad here in our waters. And those ocean swells will be high along the east coast from Florida all the way up into the northeast as a result of Florence. 20% chance. We'll switch it back into the afternoon and evening for showers and storms approaching the coast. A better chance for scattered storms on Wednesday and Thursday, but that could all change depending upon the future movement of Florence. It could actually dry us out if it's closer to us Thursday and Friday. Scott?
All right, Bob, thank you so much.